Yeah, but under common law or is it military and tribune? Because also with
Oh, I've
the,
been waiting for something like this for so long. This is so much fun.
I'm just trying to see what's the,
You have the right to
I have
walk.
the right to travel, don't
Yeah, I'm taking your happy-go-lucky feet. You want to
I?
travel?
That's
Take those 2 feet to travel, not in a car.
just what the 14th Amendment was saying. Like I have the right to travel.
You do. Yes, and you can walk your happy ass from one part to the other part. Not in a car, though. I mean, you want every single witness in Harris County? That's what that's asking for.
You have to properly represent myself for the case.
That's 4.2 million people. Really?
Buckle up, guys. Today, we're diving into a courtroom clash that feels less like a hearing and more like a sovereign citizen stand-up special. It opens with Mr. Imam challenging the court's authority under common law and bringing up military tribunals. Yeah, we're already off the rails. The judge wastes no time clapping back with sarcasm, mocking Imam's idea of traveling by foot only. This opening sets the chaotic tone, where legal fantasy meets courtroom reality, and it's only just begun.
Really? I mean, you're saying a true and complete original and or certified copy of the alleged is not even spelled correctly.
That's why I travel very cautious. I don't.
You just said I drive.
I'm saying I
I
travel very
drive. You
cautious.
said the magic words.
I was a driver.
Come on. Don't be Helen Keller. Come on. All right. So today is September 11th, 2024. It's approximately 12:25 p.m. We are now in court 5. In front of me, I have Eaton Emitum, case number 2522688. Would you please identify yourself for purpose of the record?
The man eats on Amazon.
Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? That you're going to tell the truth. That's it. Yes? Okay. State, would you identify?
Petrov on behalf of the state.
Okay. So the reason that we're putting this on the record now is Mr. Emitum has been charged with the offense of unlawful carrying of a weapon. The case is 40 days old. It appears that probable cause has already been found. I don't know if I did probable cause on this, or if I don't know if another judge did, because I don't remember Mr. Emitum, and I was out a week.
Start from here and watch closely. This is where it all gets real. The judge begins by stating the formal charges: unlawful carrying of a weapon, stolen checks from a restaurant break-in, expired registration, and even a marijuana-related bust. As the charges stack up, so does the pressure. What seemed like a quirky court moment turns into a serious criminal case. The defendant's past is catching up fast, and the tension shifts from amusing to alarming in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, lollygagging. So let's just do it for
On August 2nd, 2024, officers observed a car without a front license plate, changed lanes without a signal, and have expired registration as of March 2023. Upon approaching, officers smelled marijuana. PC search returned 4.17 grams and a loaded Smith & Wesson handgun. Additionally, there was a backpack with 3 checks that did not belong to him. Officer called Kumamoto, who said the checks were stolen from her restaurant on July 8th. When defendant broke the front window, went to the back where the checks were kept in the office, broke the hinge of the back door, and exited.
So as a result, because of that, he was charged with felony fraud on that one, on the check. Okay. Yes, he has an open case in the 182nd. Looks like he made a $15,000 bond. With us, I am going to find there's probable cause to go forward. Well, hold on a second. We'll get there. I'll let you say your piece, but do you have a Texas driver license?
I have a U.S. private property number with the FMCSA. What my vehicle was on there, it was sticker tags, everything with my business, the Amazon Estates. That's with the Department of Transportation.
Is that from the state of Texas or from where?
This is federal. This is with the Department of Transportation.
Okay, no, but you still need a Texas driver license, and you need registration and
I did all my steps with them because it was private property that I had. They said I didn't, if I didn't need to get registration with the state of Texas because I registered it. And they said that would be my voluntary, but since it's private property, I wouldn't have to register it.
Okay. From what I know of the law, you need a Texas driver license to be able to drive.
Here's where Imam launches into his private property defense, claiming his vehicle was registered under federal transport codes, not the state. He argues that Texas law doesn't apply. The judge's face says it all. Calmly, but firmly, she breaks the illusion. Texas still requires a license. Sovereign logic crashes hard against legal structure, and the judge isn't budging. Imam thought he found a loophole. Turns out, it's just a legal dead end.
This is, what jurisdiction is this case being tried on? That's what I'm trying to, because I kind of don't know what it's being tried on.
It's
Criminal, civil? Or-
criminal, yeah,
or
right?
is it-
You're facing jail time, right?
I believe so. But
Weren't you taken to jail?
Yeah.
So that wouldn't lead you to believe it's criminal, right?
yeah, but under common law, or is it military and tribunal? Because also with
Oh, I've been waiting for something like this for so long. This is so much fun.
I'm just trying to see what I'm being tried on, because what I was told with the US side, I wouldn't have to register it with the state of Texas, with the registration or licensing. I do have my own place with that vehicle too as well, so.
You need a license to drive, a Texas driver license. That's it. You either have one or you don't. The federal government has regulated to the states through the Constitution that they have allowed the states on their own initiative to create laws regarding driving on highways and byways. So that's why you see every single state has different requirements for licensing, insurance, mode of transportation. The federal government has somewhat to do with it, but by and large, they have delegated to the states that they are their own entity with regard to creating laws in their specific highways. So that's why every single state has a different type of license, different type of insurance. Like the Texas driver license is white versus Arkansas might be yellow or red, or Hawaii might be. So that's every single state has their own laws with regard. In Texas, you have to have a Texas driver license. You also have to have liability insurance as a minimum in the event that you get into an accident. Those are the two main requirements that you need to drive. If you're going to drive a vehicle, it also has to be registered so that they know that you're driving the vehicle and that you own it or have the right to have that, so it's not a stolen vehicle.
Start here for a mini constitutional crash course. The judge walks Imam through how driving laws actually work. Spoiler alert, the U.S. Constitution delegates roadway rules to individual states. That means your fantasy of driving without a license just because you Googled sovereign citizen codes won't hold up in a real courtroom. This is where the reality of state law slams into internet misinformation. The judge schools him with facts and zero patience.
I own the vehicle and everything. When I was here the last hearing with the judge, like what he was saying, he said that when it had applied to me, but he was going to see what they're going to say about the other court, about the probable cause of stopping me, because he said registration when it had in the front license plate, when it had applied to me.
It does apply. It applies to everybody. Everybody has to have a back license plate. They also have to have a front license plate. And so much, they also tell you where it has to be on the car. They regulate, you can't put it in the windshield.
State, right?
State,
Yeah.
right. They tell you where it has to be. You can't put it on the windshield. You can't put it on, like on, what's it called? On the light. It's got to be right there. They even tell you how many centimeters it's supposed to be from the street to the actual place on the car. That's how bad the state of Texas micromanages all these things. They even tell you how many damn centimeters it's got to be on the car. So you have to have a front license plate. You got to have a license, got to have insurance. So if you don't have that, you can't drive. And that's it.
It gets funnier and more painful to watch. The judge dives into the absurd level of detail Texas requires for vehicle compliance, right down to how many centimeters your license plate must be from the ground. This is micromanagement at its peak, and Imam's sovereign vehicle dream is now completely shattered. His stunned silence says it all. The law isn't just about broad ideas. It's about very specific rules. And in Texas, those rules are etched in stone.
I didn't tell him I was traveling. I wasn't arguing with him, but I was traveling. I wasn't making commerce. I used to do medical transportation, so I'm kind of aware with licensing and registration and everything. That's why with my private vehicles, I did that with the US DOT instead of the state. And I didn't know that was
Correct. You
interference.
need a license. It doesn't matter whether you're saying you're conveying, whether you're traveling, whether you're, driving. It's a privilege. It's not a right, right? There's a big difference between a privilege versus a right. You have the right to walk.
I have the right to travel, don't I?
Yeah, and taking your happy-go-lucky feet. You want to travel, take those 2 feet to travel, not in a car.
Just what the 14th Amendment was saying, like I have the right to travel.
You do. Yes, and you can walk your happy ass from one part to the other part. Not in a car, though. Not without a license and insurance.
Was on there from what I did this with the Department of Transportation. They said automobiles were on there, carrier, bicycles.
They're wrong. I'm just telling you now, they're wrong. Whoever told you that, where you got that, it's complete. Because imagine this, Mr. Emiton, and I've seen this before. Imagine.
This clip hits hard. The judge paints a brutal hypothetical. You drive uninsured, hit a 5-year-old, and the financial fallout destroys your life. Suddenly, this isn't just about traffic laws. It's about real-world consequences. She explains how lawsuits can wipe out everything you own. Insurance isn't just paperwork. It's protection. Imam came in with theories. He's leaving with a sobering picture of what happens when reality punches through sovereign delusions.
That you get into an accident, right? And you kill a 5-year-old kid. What's going to happen at that point? Whoever owns that car, the other people, they're going to come after you. They're not going to go after they're going to come after you. The first thing they're going to do is, do you have insurance? And if you don't have insurance, they're going to sue you. And then they're going to attach a lien on absolutely everything that you own to satisfy the judgment they get against you. And they will take your house, they will take your car, they will take your bank account, they will attach to where if you ever want to start working and get a paycheck, they're going to garnish all that money. You have insurance, liability insurance, so that if you ever get into an accident, you don't mean to do it. You didn't mean to kill the kid. It's not an purposement. It's an accident. And accidents happen. You might be looking at your phone, you're looking at, this pretty girl that's walking across the street, and then boom, you have insurance so that if that happens, the insurance company will pay on your behalf so you don't have to pay out of your own pocket. And they will even give you a lawyer to represent you on your behalf because that's what you pay for when you get insurance. If you get into an accident, lawyers usually call you and say, hey man, tell me what happened. Was it your fault? Or was it the other people's fault? Because we want to know who to pay. And that's why for $30 to $40 a month, you get insurance for that very purpose. And I've seen people come here, they have killed someone and they get a $250,000 judgment against them. I've seen it. And God, you'll never dig yourself out of that. So the conveying.
It's Courtroom Real Talk now. The judge shares how $40 a month in insurance could save someone from financial ruin after an accident. Her tone shifts from sarcastic to serious. This is about protecting lives. Imam keeps trying to argue transportation codes, but the judge holds the line. No license, no insurance, no driving. It's not about ideology, it's about accountability. This part drives home the heart of the law in a way no manual ever.
That. You need a license. You got to have insurance. And we do it with every single person that comes in.
Can I say for the unlawful carry, the possession of marijuana, the person that was in the vehicle told the officer it was legal hemp that they got from the store. They have receipts and everything in Texas. You can have legal hemp. They got it from the store, even told the officer it was theirs. He pulled me out the car. He didn't ask for any paperwork.
Now you're making the apples and oranges, right? Now we got to test it. Is it weed?
Oh yeah,
is it him? Understand that takes time, but you also need a lawyer to represent you.
I found my own discovery. I was representing myself pro se. And
you can do that if you want.
Yeah.
But we have to go through a series of questions.
I represented myself plenty of times. I had dismissals here from
Remember, and for purposes of the record, so Mr. Emitom had a case with me here. It was actually June 7th of 2022. He was charged with another gun case, and that was with Victor Victoriano. God, that was a great DA too.
Imam thinks past dismissals prove his strategy works. The judge reminds him, those were different cases, different facts. One dismissal doesn't erase legal reality. She even recalls tossing out a past gun case, but this one isn't the same. Imam's argument gets weaker as the judge reminds him that every charge has context. It's not about sovereign wins. It's about whether there's probable cause right here, right now. And all signs point to yes.
And I found no probable cause in that case, right? So you didn't represent yourself in that case. I found no probable cause and they dismissed it. They didn't have to dismiss it, but they did dismiss it. So other than that case, have you ever represented yourself?
Yeah, many times. I have dismissals all through here from Harris County. Traffic violations.
You're welcome to do it, and, who's one of the worst, who's one of the best presidents that in history that you can think about right now?
To me right now.
You can't think of one good president that we've ever had?
I don't know any.
Abraham Lincoln, he wasn't good?
I never met him. I don't know about him at that time.
Abraham Lincoln said something. He goes, you know what? He who represents himself has a fool for a client.
The judge throws in a heavy hitter. He who represents himself has a fool for a client. That Abraham Lincoln quote cuts deep. She explains how personal bias clouds legal judgment. Imam may think he can out-argue the system, but the judge reminds him emotion clouds logic. If he chooses to go solo, he'll be held to the same standard as any licensed attorney. This moment, it's a warning shot with historical weight behind it.
That's what he said. Meaning that when you represent yourself, there is an inherent conflict and there's an inherent bias, and you may not be able to see things objectively, meaning that you have your heart, you've got your soul into this case. So you may not be able to see from an outside position if they're saying something that makes sense. You're absolutely entitled to represent yourself. And if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to it. And I have no problem with you doing it. You need to understand, though, if you represent yourself, you can't come at a later day and say, you know what? I had ineffective assistance of counsel. My lawyer sucked. Well, you represented yourself. You now can't complain about that. If you go to trial and you lose and I end up putting your butt in jail for a year, you can't complain. You're stuck like Chuck for a whole year because that's what you're facing. You're facing a year in jail and you got a bunch of other documents too so
My discovery from that last month that I filed.
Well, let's do the question. So what is your full name?
Eton Cheeseroke Amaton.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Where were you born?
In America.
Were you born here in Houston? Were you born in?
From Texas.
Okay. You read and write English, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any learning disabilities or communication handicaps? Have you ever been declared mentally incompetent or treated for any mental health disorder? Okay. You said last time I asked you about your educational background, you graduated from high school.
Graduated high school, some college.
How far did you get in college?
2.5 years.
Did you do any legal courses whatsoever?
Left that and I started doing medical transportation. I was taking classes for paramedics. I was just doing my basics.
Studying in college.
I was just doing my basics. I ain't getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And when you're beginning, that's all you do anyways, right?
Now it's quiz time. The judge questions Imam on everything, from where he was born to how far he got in college. When asked about legal codes, he fumbles. He claims experience from past cases, but admits he's only somewhat familiar with statutes. The gap between confidence and competence is showing. She's not trying to embarrass him. She's trying to make sure he knows what he's walking into. And right now, it's a legal battlefield with no armor.
Do you have any legal training, education, or experience?
I've had experience with dealing with the court being charged before.
And any other legal? Do you know about the Code of Criminal Procedure?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Do you know about the Texas Penal Code?
I'm familiar, but I'm not too familiar with a lot of statutes and codes.
Were you here for our earlier trial?
No, I went upstairs.
I know you went to the felony court, but we were in trial earlier. Did you see what happened in trial earlier?
I had like a glimpse of it walking.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is that the lawyers on both sides had to introduce evidence. There's a specific procedure that you have to follow to have evidence admitted. It's detailed in the codes. You have to know that, because once you represent yourself, I'm going to treat you as if you were a lawyer. I will hold you to the same standard. And I'm not here to put you through law school because I have way too much drama as it is. I don't need any more drama, right? So if you don't do it the right way, I'm going to shut you down, right? I like to be nice to people, but I'm not taking you to school. Do you understand this? Do you understand the charges against you?
No, I don't understand the nature of it.
Okay, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail. What they're saying is that you unlawfully had a weapon. As a result, you were charged, and now you're facing up to a year. Do you understand?
Yeah, what they're telling me, but I still don't understand like why I went to jail for that. So that's why.
What do you not understand?
The court procedures, or
No. I'm asking about the nature of the charges. No, it's not. Don't talk about the procedures. Don't talk about the licensing, about the conveying.
Yeah, I
No.
know I'm getting charged for unlawful carry. And
Right.
This section is pure legal reality. The judge spells out courtroom procedures, objections, and appeals like a drill sergeant prepping a rookie. Miss one step and the whole case could collapse. Imam is warned, no hand-holding, no exceptions. The courtroom is not a classroom. It's the real deal, and one misstep could cost him his freedom. The judge isn't being harsh. She's being honest. This is the cost of playing lawyer without the training.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, what's going on?
Okay. You have the right, or you understand the range of punishment that you're facing a year, correct?
That's what I've been told.
Okay. You have the right to court-appointed counsel. Do you want counsel to represent you?
I don't want legal advice. I don't need a legal team. I just want law.
If I offer you a lawyer now, would you want it? You really don't want a lawyer?
I represent myself. I could get none more by myself than anyone representing me.
Okay. Do you understand that you will not be able to claim ineffective assistance counsel if you lose at a later time, whether it's in trial, whether it's in a hearing, whether anything? Do you understand that? What that means is that you cannot appeal this thing. If you're found guilty and you go to jail, you know, a lot of lawyers or a lot of defendants like to claim, sorry guys, I'll be 2 minutes. A lot of lawyers, a lot of defendants like to blame their lawyers for screwing up. And they say, hey man, my lawyer messed up. I can tell you, like, that's the number one thing that defendants complain about. And probably, I don't know this for sure, but I would suspect probably the number one reason why cases are overturned because of ineffective assistance of counsel, meaning that a lawyer, for one reason or other, messed up so bad that their cases have to be redone. You cannot complain about that at a later time.
I've seen that many times. That's why I'm representing myself.
But you can't, if you mess up, you cannot appeal this thing. Do you understand? Once, and if you are found guilty, that's it. Do you understand?
Here's the crossroads. The judge gives Imam one final out, free legal counsel. Imam turns it down, convinced he can do better alone. It's a bold move, maybe reckless. The judge emphasizes, if he loses, he can't later claim ineffective assistance. That safety net, it's gone. The room goes quiet as the judge locks in his choice. The pressure is real, and there's no turning back. Imam has officially gone all in. No lawyer, no lifeline.
You also have to comply with the same appellate procedures if you lose, meaning that if you want to appeal for one reason or the other, you have to understand the guidelines and the timing, and you have to comply with those rules as well. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
You will not be granted any special consideration because of your lack of formal training. Do you understand this? You may fail to properly raise points of error in the trial record if we go to trial. Meaning that if we go to trial and you object to something, because you hear that a lot, right? I object. This shouldn't be in there. You have to object properly. You can't just say object. There has to be more to it. You have to state the reason for the objection. It has to be a legal reason. You can't just say, I object, and expect me to hold something out. You have to give the legal reason. And there's a proper method that you have to state and ask me to do things for it to be recognized on appeal. And if you don't know this, you cannot at a later date complain. Well, I didn't know that. You understand? You still don't want a lawyer. I will give you a free lawyer. Is this voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made? No one's forcing you to do this. Okay. Knowing all this, are you sure that you still want to represent yourself? I got to tell you, I think that you look like a great guy. You look like you're upstanding. I have no problems that you represent yourself. Understand that you need to be careful what you tell them, though. Everything that you say, even if you think you're hurting yourself by admitting one thing or the other, you could be hindering your case, meaning hurting your case, even if you think you're helping yourself.
The judge gets blunt. No license, no insurance, no driving. Period. She doesn't sugarcoat it. If Imam is caught driving again, she'll raise his bond so high. His head will spontaneously combust. It's part threat, part comedy gold, but all seriousness underneath. This moment is the judge drawing a hard line. No more theory, no more sovereign nonsense. You either follow the rules or you're going straight to jail. It's a mic drop moment.
Do you understand? I'll make you a deal. If at any time you want a lawyer, all you got to do is ask and I'll give you one. Really. If you ever feel like you're under the gun, that you feel like someone's taking advantage of you, I'm happy to give you a lawyer at any time. I want you to understand now, as a condition of your bond, though, I'm ordering you not to drive until you have a Texas driver license and a liability insurance. I'm ordering you not to drive. And I'm going to have you sign with me today an affidavit promising me you're not going to drive. If I find that you drive, I'm going to put you in jail. Do you understand?
I have personals.
Okay. You are not allowed to get into the driver's seat of a car and drive, convey, travel, however you want to term it. You cannot do that. And if I find that you do that, I'm going to put you in jail and I'm going to make your bond so high, your head's going to spontaneously combust. Do you understand?
That way from my rights to anything? Or
no, but I'm telling you that you can't drive, convey, get into the driver's seat of a car. If you do, you're going to go to jail because I will revoke your bond. Do you understand? The only conditions I'm putting on you now are 3. No weapons, no picking up new cases, and don't get into the driver's seat of a car and drive, convey, travel. Are there any other adjectives that you can think of?
I'm sure there are, but
I guess I'll put et cetera so that it tries to cover any type of wording, so to speak. All right. So, Mr. Ematom, I'm going to find that you are okay to represent yourself. We need you to sign a form that you're going to do that.
Even if I don't consent to any of these charges, because I do have my paperwork, I do have.
If you don't consent, just go. If you don't think we have jurisdiction, look, if I didn't think anyone had jurisdiction over me, do you think I would be here? If I was in your shoes? Hell no, man. If I didn't think that someone didn't have jurisdiction over me to be anywhere, I'm not going there. I'm not going to get out, take a shower, put my clothes on, because I like to be naked, right? You know, I'm not doing anything like that, you know? So if you don't think we have it, just go. Otherwise, you're here. You know we do, right? Because if you...
I don't know. That's why I filed.
Let me ask you this. If you just took off now, what would happen? There you go. What does that warrant mean? What does it mean?
On, or what do you mean as far as like the warrant?
As far as jurisdiction is concerned, do you think that, look, do you think that an officer, is going to go out and actually pick someone up if they didn't think they had jurisdiction to do it? Do you know how much trouble they would get in? Do you know if Stephen went out there and arrested someone now just for shits and giggles, do you know how much trouble he would get in? Right? If he had no reason to do it, do you know how much trouble he would get in? Right, a lot. He'd lose his job. He'd probably get sued. Right? Can't claim immunity. He'd be toast, Swiss cheese. So that's what I'm saying. If you didn't really think that we didn't have jurisdiction, then go.
But I had to take care of this matter because
You know we have jurisdiction.
I don't know, because I was going to go to 515 Rusk and file my lawsuit, my civil lawsuit with the officer who did arrest me because they did some unlawful, unconstitutional things that they did to me at that time. So I was going to take it there. You know, I didn't believe they had jurisdiction over me.
I would wait to see how this case goes first before you do that. You know, see how the case goes first before you start jumping the gun.
Like that's what I was waiting.
You know, but ultimately, you know, if I didn't think anyone had jurisdiction over me, I'm not going to go there, man. I have enough important things to do in my life as it is. I mean, you've been sitting here since 8:30 in the morning, where it's now nearly 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? Really. Let's get this thing done. That way you can move on with your life. We can move on with our life and just everybody be happy. That's what it's about. All we want to do is protect our city. That's all we want to do, you know, and I'm going to do it at all costs. That's it. All right. I'm going to have you sign this affidavit. After that, we'll get you out of here. And so, Mr. Emitom, you were going to have to make a plan to meet with Mr. Petrov here so that you guys can exchange evidence. He is our chief DA here. He's the one who gets all the evidence. He's the one that's going to present it to you. You can either do it here in court with us, or you can meet with them at their office, because you're going to have to get the evidence to look at it regardless. I'm happy to take any motions that you have now, and I can look at them, and then we can come back at a later date and I can roll on it for you. I see that you have a bunch of papers. I'm happy to take anything that you have and I'll take a look over it, you know.
The clerk, last month. Motion of
Do
discovery.
you see anything?
Okay, I have the copy.
Which clerk did you file it with?
I have it right here, the copy. It was with Marilyn Burgess.
Is that for us? District clerk, right?
This is just.
We would still get it then, right, or no?
Yeah, and this is the reason tell them that's one.
You filed it under this case number or the felony court case number?
No, I filed it for this one on August 9th. I have this case number on there, 2522688.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I don't see anything. Oh, wait a second. I see a motion for discovery. Is that it? It's a motion for discovery?
Yes,
Is that the only one that you've done?
so far.
Okay. I have to talk to officers and back. If you give me 5 minutes, let me take a look at it. And then I'm going to give you a copy so that you can look at it as well. Let me print it out. Pavel, I'm printing it out for you if you want to just take a look at it real quick.
This final act is the ultimate reality check. Imam clings to the idea that jurisdiction is just an illusion. The judge patiently, sarcastically, dismantles that theory line by line. Warrants, arrests, discovery procedures. Every piece proves the court's authority. In the end, they schedule evidence sharing and the judge leaves one last message. It's time to move on, follow the law, and stop chasing sovereign shadows. And that's a wrap on this courtroom showdown. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.